I greet you in the name of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, we're going to go give you a little history lesson. You know, let's go from the good book. Meaning, when I mean good book, we'll talk about some little bit inserts from, our beloved brother Malcolm, Malik El Hajj Al Shabazz. Malcolm says, if violence is wrong in America, violence is wrong abroad. If it is wrong to be violent defending the black woman and black children and black babies and black men, then it is wrong for America to draft us and make us violent abroad in defense of her. And if it is wrong for America to draft us and teach us how to be violent in defense of her, then it is right for you and me to do whatever necessary to defend our own people right here in this country. Let's let that marinate for a minute. What Malcolm was talking about. You hear me talking about also that all this, marching up and down the street, wearing yourself out, wearing out the soles of your shoes, doesn't mean shit. Brothers and sisters being murdered by white motherfuckers with badges and uniforms. We need to be putting these motherfuckers in cemeteries. Since they putting us in cemeteries, we need to put as many as we can, 6 feet under. Cause ain't nothing more beautiful, man, than a motherfucker bagpipes playing over a motherfucker's casket, who wears a badge and a gun. It's a beautiful sound, man. Nice old racist white flag draped over his coffin, 50 stars, red, white stripes. Ain't nothing more beautiful, it's a sight to see. Malcolm was talking about back in those days, man, putting that hot shit, that heat, to these motherfuckers oppressors that that give us no justice, have no intentions of giving us justice. I told you my last video, only way we're going to get justice, we have to take it by force. How we take it by force, we need to be armed. We need to be strapped. There are a lot of guns in the black community. If we keep having these cocksuckers who want to, nominate themselves as black leaders, community leaders, these fucking cocksuckers, the Seaflow Dollar, the TD Jakes of this country, the fucking Al Sharptons of this country, the Jesse Jacksons of this country, many, many, many of them like that across this country, man, in our communities. We get behind suckers like these and whatnot, man. Malcolm talks about cocksuckers like that as well. White motherfucker, he'll run and use, Dr. Martin Luther King as an example and whatnot, what we should be going by, shit that's peaceful. It's the same shit the Romans did, that bullshit, non-violence and shit, man, distracts you, and whatnot. You know, the injustice is over here, but he'll distract you with some bullshit over here. You know, shit like awards, motion picture awards, the SAG awards, you know, some bullshit like that, the music awards, Beyonce, Jay-Z type of bullshit. You know, shit that will distract you from what's really going on. That type of bullshit. Same shit Romans used to do. I'm trying to figure how is it that white man can ask us to be as patriotic, give our life, ourselves in defense of a fucking country that's not loyal to us, but these motherfucking white motherfuckers gonna ask us, you know, for loyalty, but he gives us no loyalty. So we should not be loyal to anyone, anything that's not loyal to us. We should never show any type of loyalty to our oppressors. It's ridiculous. We should never, never, you know, take any type of advice from them. Never, never. Let them rule their households the way they want to rule their households. You know, when black folks had it real good, the only time that black folks had it real good when we didn't never have to depend on the white man, our white oppressors, is during the time of segregation. Because black folks, that's the only time black folks were close knit. Families had fathers in every single household. The single parent household back then was not as high as it was now. We didn't have so many young boys growing up to be effeminate men, faggots, dick divers, or I say pickle divers, taint munchers. We were close knit. Men ain't even men no more out here. Many times I had to sit in a cell and motherfuckers still acting like they still in the streets. Fucking prison uniform sagging off of them. I said, man, ain't nobody in here want to take your ass. Don't even know where the fucking man is. And it's shameful. We need to leave these white folks to their own devices. We need to let them know no more. No more. We're going to do our thing because we have the resources. We have the economic power to do so, to take care of ourselves. We should not have to rely on these white folks for nothing. I don't know why are we asking these people for justice for crimes they commit against us. Why? We're not going to get them in the courts. We're not going to give them in legislation. through executive order. We're not going to get shit. The UN is a joke. They put out paperwork that, due to, they call it racial terrorism, racial injustice, that we are deserving of reparations. If you was to add that up, that means every single Americanized Negro is entitled to roughly a $500 million. Yep. And see, I mean, if these people could put trillions of dollars, these white folks put trillions of dollars into the war machine, I believe that they can give us our own shit so we can separate from them. We can have our own hospitals. We can have our own banks, our own financial institutions, our own schools, our own everything. But we have some type of desire to be like them, amongst them. That we have this strong attachment to want to be like them. I don't. I like being brown. I think brown's a beautiful color. Brown goes with everything, every color. Malcolm also talks about the house Negro. I want to touch on that, because we got a lot of them and whatnot. I just spoke on the C4 dollar that's in our communities, the TD Jakes that's in our communities, the Al Sharptons that's in our communities, the Jesse Jacksons that's in our communities, and just you got motherfuckers with these big ass mega churches, they won't even open the fucking doors, to help the people out. You're gonna wait to be asked by the city, to give the people refuge. What kind of shit is that? I guess he didn't want to come down from his perch to reach down low enough, to help the little man. You know, he'll get his in the day of Yamakiyan. You talk about the house nigga. Malcolm says this modern house Negro loves his master. He wants to live near him. He'll pay 3 times as much as the house is worth just to live near his master. And then brag about, I'm the only Negro out here. I'm the only one on my job. I'm the only one in this school. You're nothing but a house Negro. And if someone comes to you right now and says, let's separate, you'll say the same thing that the house Negro said on the plantation. What do you mean separate? From America, this good white man, where are you going to get a better job than you get here? I mean, this is what you say. I ain't left nothing in Africa. That's what you say. Why would you left your mind in Africa? Man, it's deep. Malcolm, to me, Malcolm was always the type of brother, man, that was always ahead of his time. I mean, no matter what, it'll be another millennia, and his words will always resonate with the next generation. As long as we teach our black folks, our young blacks, the right way, we gotta make sure that they remember their history. Not slavery, because that has nothing to do with our history. Slavery was an interruption of our history. I mean, we're still slaves. It just slavery has evolved. Like I said in my other videos, that the emancipation, when it was signed back in 1865, excuse me, I believe it's 62, 63, somewhere in between there, between 62 and 65. Let's say that, because I know black laws, black codes had came out, Willie Lynch type shit, you know, and that shit came out when the Emancipation was signed. All that did was transferred ownership from the private citizen to the government. So basically, we're still slaves, and it's just the slavery just on another level. But there's a lot of us now that suffer an economic oppression, not just racial, but also an economic type oppression, which is just another form of white supremacy. We turn on the TV, and all I see, I don't see no black folks, when they protest, about these statues, taking down these statues and these fucking flags and whatnot. It means nothing. These are inanimate objects. It means nothing. You want justice, you gotta take it by force. Taking down the statue, taking down the flag, ain't shit. We still at where we're at. We have not, evolved. It has not awakened the sleeping Negro. These are nothing than baubles and bling and flash. That's all that is. It's garbage. It's a distraction from what's really going on. These fucking white liberals, these white of the white power structure. You know, this is it. Oh, one sec. Turn this thing down. Now, we had this sucker that just left the Oval Office for 8 whole years. He has done nothing, for us. Nothing. He put the gay issue first. He put the immigrant issue before us. Then they talked about this dreamer shit. you know. But it's like shit, man. Many times I've been locked the fuck up, for shit I do. You know, I was like, you got cities in this country, they'll defend a criminal, because if you're here in this country illegally, you are a criminal. You have violated the law. You can go anywhere in the world. You go anywhere in the world, and that type of shit will never happen. They will never come to your defense on any other part of this world. You can go to Canada. You commit a crime in Canada. After you do your time, you're going to be asked to leave. They're going to make sure you leave. You go overseas. You commit a crime. Then after that, you do your time, they're going to ask you to leave. They're going to make sure you leave. But this is the only country where they will defend an immigrant criminal, an illegal immigrant criminal. This is the only country where cities and states will defend an illegal here they won't hand him over to the feds. Nah, even though that's how the law is supposed to be. When a man commits a crime and he's an illegal, he has to go. If a man is in the process of getting his paperwork, let's say a man is trying to become a naturalized citizen. I'll give you an example. He's trying to become a naturalized citizen. Let's say he gets into some legal issues. He goes to the state superior courts. He has his case heard. Sanctions come down upon him. Then now he has INS to deal with after sentences passed upon that person. Once sentences passed, INS steps in, looks at his paperwork. We see that you're trying to become a naturalized citizen. Now he got to deal with federal courts. Because he committed a crime, it's going to take that person a little bit longer, because once he has to get sanctioned by the feds, it's going to take, because he has to be clean. He has to commit no offense for a certain time period if he's going through the means legally. For example, he might get a delay if get told by the federal courts through immigration courts that he has to stay, as long as he stay clean for 5 years, then they'll look at his immigration status. But if he reoffends, violates, it's a possibility he may be asked to leave. Even though he owns a house here, he has a business here, he has some type of financial stability here in this country, he could be asked to leave. He could be asked to leave even when he's dealing with the state courts. Once he dealing with this, after he deals with the state courts, once he's released from their conditions, their recommendations, he could be asked to leave by the federal government. Now, that's if he's here or in the process of trying to become a naturalized citizen. Matter of fact, his citizenship can be revoked. One citizenship can be revoked. You got someone crossing the border coming here illegally. That's a different thing, because you just committed a crime coming in the country illegally. You just committed a crime. Trump had mentioned during the election. Trump had mentioned you got drug dealers coming over here, which is true, because there's a lot of illegals here in Washington State who are drug dealers. There are a lot of them, a lot of them. They're producing that smack up near the Canadian border, up near like cities like Bellingham and shit. Because I met these dudes in the federal prison. Excuse me, not federal prison, federal detention. They're out in Tacoma, INS holding. Trump was talking about these people. The white liberals were like up in arms because, they wanted to make Trump look like a racist, but was nothing racist about it. I know the stories. I know the stories firsthand. When they cross the border, you got men, you got women crossing the border, illegally. You got Mexican women coming across, the deserts, and whatnot, taking them long ass trips with their children. You know, so other people's kids are coming across this border and they're being violated. You know, because sometimes it costs money. People take you across. People say, "Yeah, I'll take you across. I'll show you where to go to, that rah rah type shit like that." And broad ain't got no money. All she got, was between her legs. That's all she got. She ain't got no money. All she got was in between her legs. So what happens? Dude take the pussy. Dude takes it. He takes it. The guy that was trying to show her how to get across the border, you know, was going to violate this violator. It happens. It happens to children as well. What the liberals want to do, they want to sugarcoat shit. I'm glad that that they rescinded this Dreamers Act. I'm glad. And as a black man, I'm glad because one, it's like you don't put. It's like how the fuck you gonna give aid and harbor a criminal when you got black people who are educated here, built this country with sweat and blood, and you're gonna put someone before us. You're gonna put someone before us. I mean, it's bad enough. It's bad enough that the cocksucker that just left the Oval Office ain't do shit. The whole 8 years, that motherfucker ain't did shit for us. And the cocksucker before him ain't did shit. This total bitch of a wife. That bitch gonna come up with a book. Why I lost. Bitch, we know why you lost. You just as bad as the motherfucker that's in the White House now. Shit. But this country ain't ready to fall behind no bitch. I surely ain't. Black people, we need to wake up. I know a lot of us, we come from these households with just women, a whole bunch of women. You got mama, grandmama, yeah, and no men, no men in the household. So it's kind of difficult. It's kind of difficult to do what's right because you dealing with women deal with they're on a different level of thinking, which is not really logical. Their women are emotional. So when you're talking about getting justice, you know, the woman's going to do what she's going to do, especially when she's the head of the household. She's gonna toe the line and listen what these fake ass black leaders are going to tell her. You know, as long as the white liberal power structure are putting money into the pockets of these fucking fugazis in our community, everybody's going to toe the line. So you really ain't going to know what to do. But it's simple. It really is. It's simple. Because when you got a patrolman and in a point blank range, he got his pistol in the face of another black man who's unarmed, and he pulls the trigger, but that black man ain't did nothing wrong, nothing illegal while standing in front of that patrolman. We're not supposed to let shit like that happen. What should have happened is that patrolman should have been gunned down. Like I said in the beginning, we got a lot of guns in our community. We got a whole lot of guns. So all you gotta do is look on Facebook. You got a lot of drug dealers, a lot of guns. They were just talked about on the news, motherfucker, going from Arkansas to Chicago, some shit like that. Bringing guns up and shit, man. He got caught by the feds. He got caught. Chicago got a lot of guns. There are a lot of cities with a lot of guns. When there's a black community somewhere, trust me, there's a lot of guns within that community. We should never allow the white man to disarm us. Never. Because he's not talking about disarming his community. He's talking about disarming the black man. Somebody coming to your door talking about we want your guns. Shoot that motherfucker. Point blank range. Let him take it after he kills you. But first kill him first and whatnot, man. And if they overpower you, that's the only way they should get it. If they outgun you, that's the only way they should get your gun. If that they overpowered you when they came knocking on your door to take your shit. We should be killing these motherfuckers, man. Our sons, our daughters should never have to be accosted by white motherfucker with a gun and a badge. Never. The only jobs our sons and daughters do is go to school, get the education, get out, go to college, take a trade, build a house, build a family. That's it. Yeah. Old boy who plays football for the Seahawks, mistaken identity and shit. That's because he's black. He's wind up face down in handcuffs. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't know you, man. You know, that white cop who had you in cuffs don't mean shit if you play football for motherfucking Seattle Seahawks. Don't mean a motherfucking thing. You're black. You're black. He reminded you, just like these white motherfuckers did with Tiger Woods. Remind you you's a nigga. That's all they did. They reminded you that you was a nigga. Don't give a fuck about your money. Don't give a fuck about your name, your status in society. Their job is to remind you that you's a nigga. 24/7, 365. That's what that was about. That motherfucker that put you in that cuffs, man. He don't know you. He might not even like sports. All he knows you's a nigga running from a shooting. That's their job, man. That's their job. I feel you, man. I feel how you were feeling this shit, man. Trust me, it happens. Tiger Woods had to face the same thing when he did what he did to his white wife. And white folks came out reminding how much of a nigga he is. Real talk, man. Real talk. I'm gonna do more of these videos. I hope and pray I'm getting better at doing them. Yo, hit me up on my GoFundMe page. I'm putting these up kind of late. I'm not gonna post them like immediately. I'm gonna wait a while before posting them, but they're going to get posted. Trust me on that. You know, 'cause I don't want to let this slide. There's a lot of things I gotta say. You know, I like to marinate a while. It took me a while from the last video I did. It took me a while from the last video because I just wanted to marinate on some things. You know, because I know last video I did, I talked about one of the things I talked about how these immigrants, these foreigners here in this country, man, how they cheerlead, how you know how covert they are about their support of white supremacy. They're big major, trust me, these immigrants that are here, man, are big major supporters of white supremacy. I'm talking about a lot of these Egyptians, these Middle Eastern motherfuckers. You know, hey man, a lot of them Muslim. I'm a Christian, man, but trust me, there are major supporters of white supremacy. Talked about Asians. I'm talking about these Pakistanis, these East Indians. You know, these Europeans. That black boy that went overseas and got his ass beat to death. They got his ass beat. He went overseas with his white friends, wound up getting his ass whooped. Where was his fucking homies while that boy was getting his ass handed to him? I said, man, yeah, stayed the fuck home. We went out to the fucking Freaknik, you know, that they hold on the East Coast, man. You know, went to the Freaknik out there, Florida. I think they hold them out in North Carolina, you know, out there, or Maryland, you know, wherever they hold the Freaknik, you know, you know, Black Pride. You're seeing all your people, man, of different shades, different colors. But I guess you ain't here to hear this message. You know, I hope your parents see this motherfucker. You know, you go overseas just to get your ass handed to you. That's some shit. That's some real shit. That never happened to me, dude. Because if you ain't strapped, they say, man, if you ain't ready to get strapped and whatnot, and I'm the only one on the battlefield, I don't want to fuck with you. If you ain't ready to get down when I get down, I don't want to fuck with you. I had to get rid of a lot of motherfuckers, you know, that you know, bitches. You know, covertly they were bitches. You know, because I'm always ready to get down. Always. You know, when the plumber goes on the job, he takes his motherfucking tools with him all the time. Who the fuck goes out to do a job with no motherfucking tools? It's real talk. Anywho, I'm gonna shut this thing down. I'm gonna shut it down. Hit me up on my GoFundMe. Um, I try to, you know, give you something a little bit more better than the last time, the next time, you know. That when I give you something better, I hope it's better than what came before. So I'm gonna leave you in peace and hope that this video will cause you to think, to open your mind, to awaken what's been asleep. I leave you with peace. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.